everyone, it's Julia and welcome back to my channel. It is a couple days after Christmas and we had a white calm one here in Minnesota. I hope you're all doing well. I'm taking a little break from sewing, but I had a project that I filmed a few weeks ago that I thought I would share with you today. Made a little accent pillow and I'm using this really cute Russian doll fabric that was actually gifted to me, and thank you so much. And also using this measuring tape trim that I had put on the bottom. I just use a Heat and Bond light to attach these little applique dolls. You can use any adhesive for that, and I also use my Roxanne glue based it adhesive to put behind that measuring tape to keep that secured before I sew it. I just wrote these words out on a piece of paper. It says, it's what's inside that counts. Thought that was appropriate for these little nesting dolls. I'm using my heat erase pens now, and I can see right through this muslin. This is just a muslin that I'm using, and I can see through it, so I can just trace these words right on. Now, I wanted to say that I just made a mistake on that last word there. So I just took my iron and I erased that, and I can just redo that. I'm at my sewing machine now, and I have my black thread on, and I do have my darner foot on. Any free motion stitched foot would work. I have my feed dogs dropped. My stitch length to 0, so everything's set up for free motion. And I'm just going to be outlining this. I'm going to be doing some of the detail on the dolls too. I think I outlined the hair. I like to go over my stitching twice. It has more of a sketched on look that way. I just kind of really like that look. I wanted to take a moment and just talk about the heat erase pens. I get a lot of questions on these, whether I ever had any bad experiences with them, if I've ever had any reappearing ink. And I wanted to just to talk briefly about this. Now, I always test my fabric. I find I've had pretty good results if I just use a lighter colored, like a muslin or that type of fabric, a cotton fabric. I do not like it for darker fabrics. It does leave white streaks. It almost seems like it takes the dye off of darker fabrics, especially if they're pigment dyed. So just keep that in mind. And I also, some of you or most of you might know already that I do sell at a flea market in the summer. A lot of my creations end up at the flea market, and it's summer and it's hot. A lot of my pillows I do put in like a plastic bag just for protection for the dirt and people touching them and that. And I have had a pillow where it was outside, it got hot, and that plastic got really warm, and some of that ink adhered to the plastic. I don't know what happened. Adhered to the plastic and repositioned, and some of that ink went in other places of the pillow. And that was the only time that's ever really happened. So just, keep that in mind. I would never use my heat erase pens if I'm doing a big project like a quilt. I think I would figure out something else to use, maybe chalk or something in place of that. But I do love these pens. I use them a lot for this type of a thing. And too, also now I'm working on the letters right now. And because this is my own handwriting, it's really quite easy to do this. I am getting off a little bit. You can see some of that ink, but once you just get used to doing this, pretty easy to stay on the line. When I'm doing this, again, I like to go over it twice. I cross my T's as I'm working, but I will come back and dot my I's and put in those apostrophes. Now I do have 2 layers here, so I'm working on my muslin, and then also underneath that is a warm and natural batting. I always put a batting behind my pillow tops. I just think it adds, it just makes them less bumpy when you put the fiberfill in. Things are just smoother. I do also get the question whether I ever use a hoop. And I don't if my stitches are laying flat. If my stitches feel like they're puckering a little bit, I'll hoop my work. Seems to work really well with using that batting on the back side though. Things just seem to really lay nice. I'm done here and I am going to be using my automatic thread cutter. It's when you'll see me use my thumb I just have a button. And two, I am not bringing my bobbin thread to the top, and I don't do it if my back is covered up. And then in a pillow, your back is completely covered up. If I'm doing a quilt, I would bring the bobbin to the top. Just erasing now everything with that iron. I wanted to mention too that I just use my straight stitch and stitch that measuring tape trim on. So that everything is sewn and I'm just doing some trimming now. Getting everything to even and all lined up now. This is a small pillow. I believe it was 8 by 10. Have the backing on so everything is right sides together, and I marked my opening. Just mark that with the water soluble fabric pen. And then we'll be stitching this all the way around, leaving that opening. It's stitched and I'm doing my trimming, getting my fingers in there and turning, using my pokey tool to get those corners out. And then it's on to back to the ironing board, and I'm just getting everything rolled out, getting those seams pressed nice, and getting that opening pressed under. Just using regular polyfill and just like pulling it apart before I stuff it, and just getting it firmly into the corners. And then I like to stuff my pillows quite full. Just turning under that opening and using my Wonder Clips to clip that into place. And I wanted to share with you, I've done this before, I've shared before, but I do use my zipper foot when I close up my pillows. That zipper foot, the position of that needle is on the right hand side, and so it's right at the edge of the pillow. So I'm just stitching a scant little seam there, and most of that zipper foot is on the pillow. Just getting everything lined up. You can certainly hand stitch these closed as well. I find that this goes really quick. And I will be back stitching here to secure my seam. And this is what it looks like. It's all finished. Thank you everybody who's joined me. I'll be back at the beginning of the year for some new videos. I have some pictures at the end. Hope you have a creative week. Bye for now.